I'll be honest, one of my pet hates is junk left underneath floors by previous tradespeople who couldn't be bothered tidying up properly. So today I'm tidying up under this one little section of floorboard here, and I'll show you what came out. It's unbelievable. And later on I will show you a little positive, a glimmer of light in all of this. This is probably the oldest newspaper I've ever found, I think. Hiya folks, and welcome back to the show. You join me on the floor once again. And I'll be honest, this is one of my pet hates of kind of doing renovations, and also, oh man, where to start? So I know a lot of you will probably be thinking cleaning out underneath floors of 100-year-old houses is a complete waste of time, and I've probably got better things I should be getting on with. And you are right that I have much better things that I need to be getting on with, but I just can't leave it like that. So let's lift the floorboard along this stretch and see what I find underneath it. Let me just show you what we're up against. So I've kind of cleaned up in that direction under the floor, but I haven't touched this area, as you can see. Oh man, it's just endless. I mean, there's an entire floorboard there. It gets even worse over here. Look at this. I mean, how am I supposed to work out what's what? What an absolute mess. Right, all that is coming out and getting cleaned up. So folks, I'll be honest, I've cleaned out underneath a lot of floors. That is the worst floor that I've ever come across. Under that one little stretch of floorboard, bearing in mind I'd already cleared out half of it. So we're only between 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're between 6 joists underneath pretty much a single floorboard. We've got 3.5 rubble bags full of junk. We had 2 bricks, the other brick's still there. An old leftover bit of floorboard, a bit of leftover cable capping. But the exciting thing is the newspaper clipping that I found. So I'll show you under the floor first. I mean, you're not going to eat your dinner off it, but it's an improvement, and you can actually see what's going on now. I've just got that brick there temporarily holding that gas pipe up. That gas pipe's coming out anyway, But before it was basically being supported by those electric cables, so at least that's a little bit better, I suppose. But yeah, that is an improvement over what it was, and at least you can see what's what now. And I think that's one of the key things. Leave life easier for the next tradesperson who's coming along. You can't just leave it like that. I mean, look, what have we got? Stuff from plasterers, stuff from joiners, plaster, no idea, straw, another more bits of wood, rubble, all sorts. That is 100 years of people just leaving their junk under the floor. The house wasn't built like that. Oh man, I was just about to tick off the list. Final fitting of floorboards. I knew I had one floorboard left that I hadn't lifted yet. One that had been lifted in the past that I hadn't been under yet. Mainly because we had the plasterboard over this end of the room. And if you remember, this is the one where they'd obviously used a drill to cut the floorboard, which didn't really bode well, I guess. This is unbelievable. So what I'm going to do, I'm actually going to take all the rubbish out. This is like, what, a metre and a bit? I'm going to take all the rubbish out from under this one single floorboard and show you what I've had to contend with in this particular house. Every single floorboard I've lifted has been like this, but this is probably one of the worst ones. I definitely need a mask and gloves for this, so I'm not going to be able to chat much. So I've separated it out into piles. We've got like wood, generally flammable stuff over here. That's really dangerous, leaving that under floors. I mean, that is an absolute tinderbox. It's been like that under every floor, not just this one bit. We've just got rubble, general rubbish over here, actual bricks and things. And then, you know, what? An old paintbrush, cables, a dead mouse, and the one interesting thing, a newspaper. And that actually, it's quite interesting because it kind of dates what's been going on here, because I know exactly when this house fell into private ownership, because this is an ex-council house. And I don't think we've got a date on this yoghurt pot, unfortunately, and I couldn't find a date on the packet of cheese and onion KP crisps, but this newspaper, December 1979, City News. Polytechnic students design trophies for school and bowls club. Well, that firmly dates it in the period where this was still a council house. So this is, unfortunately, the work of the council, who's left all of this under the floor. Not particularly shocking, but certainly disgusting and also quite dangerous, really. You know, as I've said many times before, I'm not expecting under the floors to be immaculate. I'm not planning on eating my breakfast off the underfloor. But you want it clean enough so that you can actually see what's going on. so that it doesn't make life harder for other tradespeople who are going to be in who maybe need to run cables or run pipes or whatever they need to do. But trying to work around junk like that, it's impossible. You can't see what you're doing. And as I say, it's dangerous as well. I'm sure the irony hasn't escaped you that I'm now going to have to pay for the council to take away the rubbish that the council left under this council house floor. So several weeks passed and I meticulously cleared out underneath every single floorboard in the house that I could get access to. We had clear airflow from the front of the house to the back. This minimises the chances of your joists rotting, and the DPC was no longer being bridged by rubble, once again preventing rot and general damp issues commonly found in older properties. The underfloors were once again looking like new. But then, shortly after our plasterers finished, I was filming another random video and this happened. So one of the final flooring jobs around here before we put the new floor down on top. We don't need a vent here anymore. That would have been for the old back boiler and probably the fire, and there's loads of other holes and things. So I think what we'll do, we'll just try our best to put some wood in that gap. What on earth? It's an orange. Marvellous. That's from our plasterers. They're the only people who have been in here. That's amazing. Oh, what else is under here? What else have they just dumped? This was all completely clear. You know what it is? We spent the last 3 to 4 months trying to get the smell of wee out of this property. And we've replaced all the floorboards that were saturated in urine. So it doesn't smell of wee now, but it would end up just smelling of mouldy fruit. Unbelievable. Wow. Well, they're getting kicked into touch, I'll tell you that much. What else have we got? Yeah, that's plaster. That's from when... Found a hole in the floor, let's just chuck all the rubbish down the hole in the floor. Brilliant. It's all bridge and the damp proof, and it's leaning against the wall plates, so over time it would suck up moisture into the wall plates and cause some wall plates to rot, so that's not great. I think that's most of it. Goddamn orange, don't believe it. I mean, they weren't even working in this room, but I mean, wipes have been left open, and there's just used wipes just chucked like look at this. They weren't even in here. I've only just cleaned up under here. Man. Oh, it does me head in. I mean, it's not like there's no shortage of bloody bin liners everywhere. But, as I say, check this out. Well, we've got a couple of little things here. What have we got? 10:30. Electrician called. Will be in on Tuesday. Have all floorboards bare upstairs and have meter cupboard empty. Thank you. Oh, that must have been when it was rewired. Probably 1980s, 1990s or something like that. But anyway, look at this. Now, the trouble is with old newspapers is that they tend to disintegrate. But look at this. March the 27th, 1937. I would hazard a guess that that's when this house was built. So I knew it was around 1936, 1937, but certainly if not when the house was built, it was probably around the time little things were getting finished off. Maybe the electrics were first being put in or something like that, but I have to be really careful with this because it will just disintegrate. But I think it's actually survived quite well under that floor because I've found other newer newspapers where literally it's, as soon as you touch it, it just turns to dust. And it's heartbreaking. Can I open this up and have a look at what's on the inside of this? So fragile. Oh, that's a fold. Go from this side. This hasn't seen the light of day for almost 100 years. How mad's that? Ah, it is the North Mail and something. Yeah, March the 27th, 1937. British enterprise on the eve of new and greater triumphs. Empire Air Links. Oh man. Wow, there you go. There's one for the history books. I will try to keep at least part of this. I mean, it's got bits of plaster and things stuck on it, but yeah, wow. I'll pop a few more pictures on X if you want to see what's actually written on this. So if you go to x.com and just search for Gosforth Handy, link in the description. And yeah, I'll put as good a pictures as I can get if you want to have a read of the articles in this from 1937. Anyway, there you go. Quite a nice little find there. Oh, so there you go, folks. I hope you found that vaguely entertaining. The moral of this story, if you make a mess, clear it up. Because I think it's a little bit cheeky. If you're doing a job for a client and you make a mess as part of doing that job, then if you don't clear that mess up, you've only done half the job. You've kind of left the clearing up part for someone else to do. And in this instance, you've left the clearing up for me to do. And that took best part of 2 hours to clear all of that from under there. Whereas if it had just been cleared on the go by whatever electrician, plasterer or builder, whoever had been doing work, you know, it was probably a 10-20 minute job at the time. But when you let it get to that state, it becomes a much bigger job, and then you've got to work out how to dispose of it, etc, etc. So please, please, I beg of you, if you're a tradesperson, don't sweep all your crap under the floors. It's borderline criminal. It's using your customers' underfloor as a dumping ground without their permission. It's making life much harder for other tradespeople to come along and do their job because they can't see what's what, they can't see where cables are running. The gas pipe was almost completely buried in rubble underneath here, along with all the electric cables. So, you know, make life easier for the next trade coming along, and always leave a site better than when you first arrived. That's kind of my rule of thumb. Over my almost 50 years of being on this planet, at least 30 of which I've been working, I've always said to people, have pride in your work, and the moment you stop having pride in your work, find something else to do that's more enjoyable, where you do have pride in your work, and free that job up for someone else who'll maybe do a better job, or they're a little bit more conscious about how they're leaving things for the next tradesperson coming along. And sorry, it's no excuse to turn around and say that you haven't got time to clear up. It's part of the job. If you're not quoting that into your time, then you're not charging enough. So make sure that you are quoting in clear up time as well as the time to actually do the job, because it is part of the job. So rant over, but I hope you've enjoyed that. A little bit further forward, I think it's time for a cuppa, to be honest, because Sparky's coming soon, plumber's coming soon, we've got a boiler to move, we've got electrics to sort out, and I finally feel like we're in a state where I can actually let them in the house. Folks, as per usual, look after one another, be nice to each other, and we shall see you next time. Tatty bye.